If you or a family member have been hurt because of the careless actions of another person, call Walker, Texas Lawyer. They'll work to get you the financial compensation and justice you deserve. They have 40 years of experience, and you don't pay unless you win. Call 713-881-9653 today for a consultation or go to walkertexaslawyer.com.
Oh, Brad, what have you done now?
Broadcasting live from Houston, Texas, and around the world. TV host, best-selling author, and radio personality Brad Gilmore brings you a collection of conversations with stars from movies.
Mark Wahlberg.
Hey, how are you?
The legendary Mr. Christopher Lloyd. Christopher, how are we doing?
I'm doing good. Great introduction.
Television.
Jimmy Fallon joins us this morning. Jimmy, how you doing, my friend?
Good morning. Thank you so much, Brad, for having me. I appreciate this, bud.
Kelly Ripa.
Brad, thank you for having me.
Comedy.
Jay Leno joins us. Jay, how you doing?
Hey, Brad, what's going on?
Gabriel Fluffy Iglesias.
Good morning.
Music.
Lola Monroe.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
The legendary frontman of AC/DC, Brian Johnson, joins us right now. Brian, how you doing?
Good morning, Brad. What looking to talk, give me funny lad.
Grammy Award winner Maya joins us.
How are you?
And more. This is The Collection. Now your host, The Boat, Brad Gilmore.
And he's joining me right now on the air. We're so excited to have him. He's bringing the Legend Tour right here to H-Town this Saturday at the Bayou Music Center. The man himself, Chris Tucker, is in the building. Chris Tucker, good morning to you.
Good morning, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited to talk to you. I've been such a big fan of everything that you've done for so long, and I can't believe you're going to be here in my city, Houston, Texas, this weekend for the Legend Tour. Let people know, how's this tour been going so far?
Oh, thank you, Brad. Thank you, man. It's been going great, man. You know, I'm back to my roots. I started out doing stand-up comedy. I started in high school hosting talent shows, man, and I told my first joke, and I said, this is what I want to do the rest of my life. And then when I graduated, went straight to the comedy club. So, man, this is, people come to the show, they get to see the real me. If you love my movies from Fridays to the Rush Hours, Dead Presidents, Fifth Elements, all those movies, you really going to love this show because you get to see the real man, the real me. So they've been going great. The show's been going really good.
You got to see the real man, the real you. They got to see the legend. That's the name of this tour. I mean, that's a huge moniker that I think that you live up to, though. And why did you want to name it the Legend Tour?
You know what? A lot of people was coming up to me like, younger people were saying, "You're a legend. You're an OG. You this, that." And I'm like, maybe I should just name the tour the Legend because first I thought they were saying I was old or something. Wait a minute, man, I ain't that old. So then I kind of owned it, the Legend thing, because stuff takes a life of its own. You never know, like a movie's gonna become what it becomes, a classic or a cult classic or this or that. And then people start naming giving you a name for stuff. So I just said I'll name the tour that and have some fun with it.
Well, you're going to be here in Houston this weekend. We're all really excited about it, the Legend Tour, Chris Tucker. Now, stand-up, I mean, I love the art form, and you're one of the greats. There's so many legends, that you can live up to that name. One of them is Jay Leno, and Jay Leno is known as one of these great stand-ups, but he never put out a special because he didn't want the people. He said, once I put the special out, I have to work on all new material. Where do you stand on that when you're going out there and touring new material? I don't know if you're planning a special or not, but how do you feel about releasing it out into the world, knowing then you got to come up with some more stuff?
Well, I think it's okay because it's like almost like sequels. It's a continuation sometimes on some stuff that you mentioned. Some people have characters in their stand-up, and they continue to talk about those characters. That's okay, but your life keeps changing, so you're gonna have different materials. So you kind of want to move on from it. But some stuff, you might want to mention again. A lot of people haven't heard some of the jokes, so you might want to say it sometime. But your life keeps moving, so you can't help but keep coming up with new material. So I didn't know he did that. I didn't know he didn't film specials because of that. That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, everybody has their reasons, I'm sure, and that's his. But when you talk about stand-up, it's such a performance, and I think that people, sometimes don't understand all the hours that go into that, putting together that 60 minutes or hour and a half or whatever it is you're going to do. And there's a performance. You have to bring these jokes to live on stage. In a lot of the times coming up in the clubs, you're coming up after a lot of hungry comedians. Now, there's a story that I'm sure you've heard before where Jamie Foxx said that he thought, he had it made, and then one day he had to follow you and heard your reaction, and you had to make him go find us funny again. You were just so killer on stage. Have you ever had one of those hard sets where you had to follow somebody that made you go, wait a minute, I need to rethink this?
Oh, yeah. It's always that competition in the comedy clubs and in shows that, you position behind somebody that's really strong. I've definitely had those moments, but it really makes you just dig in deeper and ride that wave where whoever that, the comic that's up before you, just kind of ride that wave, and you better listen closely what he's talking about, so you kind of like not hit on what he's hitting on or elaborate what he's hitting on. So it's an ongoing lot. That's what's so great about live and comedy and stuff. It just keeps evolving, and sometimes you're going to be faced with the adversity, and you just got to come harder, come from a different angle, and be attentive, because it's no joke. It's no joke.
Yeah, it's absolutely no joke. And I think, no matter what you're doing, whether it's acting, a stand-up, if you're hosting something, I think when we first start out, we almost mimic the ones that we love the most. Whether it's me as a television personality or radio host, I'm going after who's ever the best, who influenced me to get in the game. That's who I'm trying to model myself after in the early goings. Did you have somebody like that you almost went and, did a version of them when you first started off, or were you always kind of finding your own lane from the get-go?
I was always kind of finding my own lane from the get-go because it was just my personality. I guess it just happened, but I was always influenced by the greats, Richard Pryor, how he told stories, Robin Harris, how he was just naturally funny. I always wanted that to have that natural ability, so it'd be a little easier for me. So I tried to channel and tap into that. And Eddie Murphy as, acting and taking it to a whole nother rock star level. Always wanted to do that. So all those greats I always try to pull from them, but I was lucky enough and blessed enough to come into my own early.
Chris Tucker, the Legend Tour, is going to be here in Houston this weekend at the Bayou Music Center. You've gotten to rub shoulders with so many people. I mean, there's the running joke in Hollywood that Chris Tucker knows everybody. He's friends with everybody. One of them is to happen to be the greatest performer, in my personal opinion, of all time, in Michael Jackson. My question is this. Did you learn anything from him as a performer when you spent time around him and worked with him that you could then implement into your own stand-up and your own performance?
Well, what I did learn one time, he just how he is disciplined and being focused just by, from afar. I learned that. And then, one time he told me, let's make history, Chris, let's make history. And I thought about how deep he had to think about what he was doing and where he wanted to go. And he planned out stuff to be able to say, I'm going to leave, a lot to the world and history, be part of history. And that made me think a lot of like how you have to have a plan and preparation and goals and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Preparation's the only luck you're ever going to have, right? I mean, I learned that a long time ago. You got to be ready for the moment. Now, when you have putting this show together or anything that you've done in your career, from my estimation, you've been very selective about it. You named a lot of films that you were a part of. They're all iconic. You've been selective about the work that you've attached your name to, and everything that you've attached your name to seems to be pretty damn successful, from my opinion. How did you go about choosing what to attach your name to? Because it's almost like you have a sixth sense for what's going to work out.
Yeah, that's part of it, but a lot of it chooses me, and then a lot of stuff I turned down over the years because I just felt like it wasn't, it just didn't interest me. I didn't think it would interest my fans, my audience. So, and then number one, I want to make sure I can do the best job possible and really do something that I'm proud of, and my audience and fans would be proud of. So I'm always thinking about my fans. And then I'm a perfectionist. I'm a perfectionist, so that has a lot to do with they just got to be close to great or the greatest. So I'm always shooting for that. So that's sort of my thought process when I'm picking a role, choosing a role. I definitely don't do anything for money. I always do it for, and if I do something that I feel like, oh man, I'm in it now, I can't get out of it. It's almost, if it's not great, that's probably the reason why it's not that great.
Well, you've been great in everything that you've ever been in, and I'm such a fan. Now, the last thing I want to ask you before you get out of here, you were thinking about the projects for your fans, but you're also thinking about the future with the Chris Tucker Foundation. Can you just talk a little bit about what y'all's mission is, and if you have anything that we can support?
Oh man, yeah. I mean, the best thing I ever did, man. I like I said, I did a lot of humanitarian trips around the world, and my mom told me, to start up my own foundation and do something I can help more people. So I started up the Chris Tucker Foundation, and we do, man, everything from scholarships, from homeless ministry with my church, and whatever we can find somebody, people that's in need. We try to do it, man. So it's just been the best thing I ever did. Better than any movie premiere, opening of a movie. It's just a lot of joy. It brings a lot of joy to be able to help somebody in need, kids in need, and whoever is in need. So it's awesome.
Oh, that's so amazing to hear. Chris Tucker, again, is going to be here at Houston this weekend for the Legend Tour, and I cannot wait to see it in person. Chris, thank you so much for taking the time to join us this morning, and God bless you, sir.
You too. God bless you. Thank you.
Hurry up, tape running out.